so picking back up, we're going to do opaque versus transparent. So you've seen that I've just drawn this black line here, so we're going to look at the difference between mixing a transparent color and versus an opaque color, which you guys pretty much already know, but I'm just going to show you. So I've seen quite a few people before just squeeze this paint out, this watercolor paint, and just paint with it straight. That's not, you don't want to use watercolor pigment like that, because once this dries, if it ever gets wet, like even a little wet, it's going to literally go everywhere. So you always want to dilute it with the water, because that's what gives it more staying power for later. Okay, so to mix an opaque color, we're just mixing way less with way less water. So here is my violet, and you guys saw I put barely a little bit water, like literally just like a little brush full. So this is super pigmented. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this. Now it's not all the way opaque, but man is it close. Now if we were to like puddle that up there and just blot that color in, that is going to dry very, very dark, where we'll barely see it. Okay, so opaque, just a lot less water. Now obviously if you're using yellow or something like that, peach, anything, the yellow green, anything like that that is just naturally a lot lighter, you're not going to get an opaque color over black, not with watercolor. But you know, you can still get it more opaque the less water you add to it. So now we'll do like a middle kind of color, so still pretty dark, but still with a lot of pigment versus water. So here in the middle. Okay, and then we're gonna go real transparent. So this is kind of like the glazing that we did before. So a lot more water. And we know that these will dry lighter. So we see the difference between those. And we can actually, while we already have this mixed up, might as well, right? Let's go and do some more glazing. Yay! Okay. So, next one is one of my absolute favorites. Well, these next two, actually, these two, the alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and the cling wrap. Ugh, I love them. Okay. So, I'm going to go with black, because I really want you to see this, this effect really well. So, I'm going to go in with this black. Oop. I know it's sideways, guys. I'm sorry. So I'm just applying that. All right. Okay, so now that I have that applied, I'm going to rinse my brush. Try to get all that black out. And then I'm going to get my rubbing alcohol. So this is just regular, ooh, can I even tip this? Rubbing alcohol. This is 91%. I also have 70. So I've poured a little in its cap right here. So then I'm just going to take a clean brush, dunk it in the alcohol, and then watch. Is that not so cool? Ugh, it's one of my favorites. I just love it. Looks like bacteria growing in a petri dish or something. I don't know. It's just one of my absolute favorites. You can also splatter with this. I'm actually going to get a smaller brush to splatter with. Whoa, that was fun. No matter how many times I do the alcohol one, it's just so fun. Okay, so that's rubbing alcohol. Make sure you rinse your brush, that's kind of hard to say, really well after you use the, after you do the alcohol one, because you don't want that just mixing with your regular colors for obvious reasons. So I'm going to pour that back in the container. So 1 second. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to do with you guys is the cling wrap. I love this one too. It's so fun. So for cling wrap, I'm going to get my colors. And what do I want to do? I think I want to do purple again. And some of this blue. Okay. So I have those two. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I'm going to go in with purple first. My blue is invading my purple over here. What the heck, we'll just let it do its thing. So you want this to be fairly wet. If it isn't, it's not going to work. So that's why I'm working pretty fast here, just kind of scrumbling this on. But you want it to still be damp. So I'm going to add a little bit of this black in here too, just for kicks. Kind of galaxy-ish. Okay, so now while that is still damp, you want to take your saran wrap and don't pull it tight and stick it down. You want to crumple it, okay? And while it's still wet, you have to do this when it's wet. You're going to take it and you're going to scrunch it, squish it down into the paper, okay? So really just squish it down in there. Now you can already kind of see, you see over here and here on the edge, so where the cling wrap touches the paper, it will either collect pigment or push it away. So you end up in the end with this really cool design. And something else that you can do is you can feed it. So like this, there's like a little nook here. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use gravity as my friend. And I'm going to kind of tilt my paper up. And I'm just going to feed that in there. So can you see that black like flowing in those cracks? I'm going to do the same thing over here and see what happens. Maybe take some of this blue. So I'm just dotting that, kind of like placing it under there. And we'll see what happens with that. Okay? So this one we have to leave. And tomorrow I think we'll do the water bloom and tissue and straw, and then we'll be done and you guys can start yours. Okay, so that is it for today. And yeah, oh, we'll do some more of our negative painting. So we got that done today, our scratching, salt, which you guys will be able to see way better tomorrow, even though this looks super cool right now, but you can't tell. The water blooms looks awful right now, but it won't tomorrow. We have our splatter, our sponge, which I really like the way it turned out. Our cool magic eraser, the sandpaper watercolor, just an example of transparent, medium transparency, the awesome alcohol one, and the start of our cling wrap. Okay? All right.